This isn't an explanation.
Quite heavy, feel the temperature of the words. 暗きなぎスポルカ。
This is a podcast with the commentary about life troubles and family issues. I was researching Tourette syndrome, and I still couldn't really understand it. But maybe hiccups are similar to a kind of vocal tick that comes from the throat or nose. I looked up Tourette, and maybe hiccups are like a vocal tick. Every time I research things like this, I start thinking that if I'm gonna end up hospitalized with a serious illness anyway, maybe it would be better if my condition had been severe enough to keep me from going to school. When I look this stuff up, I feel like maybe it would be easier if my illness had been severe from the start. Having both a rare disease and developmental disorder just make everything more complicated. Having both chronic illness and developmental issues makes things messy. Next, recently I haven't had much stomach pain, but sometimes I'm tormented by the thought that my illness might suddenly get worse again. My stomach pain is less now, but I still fear it might flare up. Something miraculous happened, I realized, from a random video that the weird sensations I get during meals, like feeling my legs float or needing to change posture, might actually be a kind of tick. I learned from a video that my strange body sensation while eating might be tick. Something miraculous happened, I realized, from a random video that the weird sensation I get during meals, like feeling my legs float or needing to change posture, might actually be a kind of tick. Next, people say kids with developmental disorders like train and because they like pattern, but there are plenty of other pattern thing around. And they say autistic kids like train for the pattern, but patterns are everywhere. And being on time isn't really benefit, because kids don't use train for commuting anyway. Being punctual doesn't matter for kids. They don't commute. Buses also have routes, but delay happen because of traffic. Still, I don't think train loving kids care if the time shift. Bus run route too, but delay happen. Kids wouldn't care. I don't understand why they like train. Cars also have similar shapes and both run almost the same path every day. I don't get why trains are special. Cars and bus are similar. Trains run on fixed rails, but buses also run roughly the same route. Stations are predictable, but if you want predictability, you could just stay home. Trains are fixed, but buses are mostly fixed too. If you want stability, stay home. And there are many train fans who don't even ride a train, which I'll explain later. Many train fans don't ride train, and I'll explain that later. There are many train fans who don't even ride trains. Many train fans don't ride trains. Cars should be enough too, but maybe train culture is strong only in big cities. Other regions have more people anyway. Cars could work too, but trains are big only in cities. Other areas have more people. I think having interest in food required mental space, but many top performers are rarely into food. I think having an interest in food requires mental space, but many top performers are rarely into food, which surprised me. Food interest needs mental room, but many successful people love food. Countries that don't focus much on gourmet culture, like the US or UK, tend to be stronger in academic or sports. Countries not focused on food are strong in academic and sport. Maybe when people but put too much energy into food, they don't direct their awareness to other things. Focusing on food might reduce focus on other areas. I wonder if anyone else has even thought about this. I wonder if others think this way too. Humans hold multiple values at once, but very few people are aware that they are inherently contradictory beings. People have many values, but few notice the contradictions. Next, being a hikikomori was hell. Being hikikomori was hell, but since my parents were there, I sometimes feel like maybe I took me easy way out. I sometimes feel like maybe I took the easy way out. Being shut in was hell, but I sometimes feel I relied too much on my parents. But not being able to step outside at all is sometimes most people simply can't do. But being unable to leave the house isn't something normal people can do. I have a very strong likes and dislikes. I'm extremely picky. When it comes to tick, I feel like my traits are different from other people with developmental disorders, not more severe or milder, just different. My cheeks feel different from other autistic trait, not stronger or weaker. It's just different. I watched an audition show for an idol group I don't even support, and there were so many cute girls that I felt frustrated. I guess I wanted reassurance. I guess I wanted reassurance. I watched an idol audition and felt frustrated because many girls were cute. I imagined what I would say if my best friend suddenly became really overweight. Such a strange fantasy. I had a weird thought about what I'd say if my friend got very fat. And either I now became a model and I found myself worrying pointlessly about whether to get along with the other models. Either became a model, and I worried for no reason about her fitting on. I've had many periods where killing time was hard, but recently I watch English videos only when I'm mentally stable. I used to struggle to kill time, but now I watch English videos when I feel okay. There were many times when I struggled to kill time, but recently I can watch English videos when I feel like it. So I only watch them when I'm in the mood. And there are many times when I had trouble killing time, but recently I mostly watch other videos. And mostly I watch other videos only when I have the mood and time. There's no real reason humans must live. That's why I can only survive if I cling to the idea of living. There's no reason to live. So I can only live by insisting on it. I don't want to live. I have no reason to live. Listening to podcast made me realize again that you must live is just a pretty phrase. I don't wanna live, and podcast remind me that you must live. It's just idealism. Because clinging to life feels ridiculous sometimes. Because clinging to life feels ridiculous sometimes. Trying too hard to live feels silly. My parent keeps the heater next. My parent keeps the heater on for too long, and I wondered if I should tell her to stop. My parents use the heater too long, and I thought about telling them. If I don't get used to the cold, I get stomachache on cold days. But I also wanna follow my rule of not talking about the heater. I get stomachache in the cold, but I want to keep my rule of not mentioning the heater. I realized I've changed Japanese grammar into my own style. Normally people imitate language unconsciously, so this shouldn't happen. I noticed I speak Japanese in my own grammar style. Even though I'm not consciously doing it, I somehow develop my own pattern of speaking Japanese. I have my own Japanese speaking pattern. I have my own Japanese speaking pattern without meaning to. When I watch podcasts on YouTube, I often think, why doesn't anyone make a show like this? I watch shows and think, why doesn't someone make this kind of show? I wish I could make it one myself. But I can't, and that frustrates me. I wanna make it myself, but can't. And it's frustrating. There's no end to ideas, so I can't bring myself to start. I have endless ideas, so I can't begin. Even though it's winter, my parents opened the window, and it made me anxious. I didn't know if they'd close he closed it properly, or why he opened it. My parents opened the window in winter, and it worried me. Listening to podcasts made me realize that humans have an instinct to leave the record of their existence. Podcast made me realize people wanna leave a record of living. Maybe that's why I record my podcast too. Maybe that's why I make my podcast. Even though I think there's no point in leaving the record. Even though I think records are meaningless. A comedian YouTuber said Nietzsche's Übermensch means someone who stays confident even when criticized, but that's interpretation is way too shallow. A YouTuber said Nietzsche's Superman means self-confidence, but that's shallow. Explanation like that's shallow, contradictory, and fall apart the moment you look for acceptations. They don't realize how non-universal their interpretation is. That explanation is shallow and full of contradictions. Nietzsche's Übermensch means having a strength to accept a meaningless life, not be confident or be strong. He wasn't motivational speaker. Nietzsche meant accepting life's meaninglessness, not self-confidence. I can't believe that comedian thought that was all Nietzsche meant, even though he's highly educated. It surprised me that an educated comedian misunderstood Nietzsche like that. I hate people who have no real education but read difficult novels or brag about random knowledge and think they are intellectual. I dislike people who pretend to be intellectual with random knowledge. That's why I actually didn't want to study English at first. That's why I didn't want to study English. I planned to leave this house someday and be hospitalized long term for my chronic illness. But I learned long-term stays only for bedridden people, and I felt hopeless. I wanted long-term hospitalization, but it's only for bedridden patient, which crushed me. I found a place that accepts chronic phase patient, but I forgot what it was and panicked. So I asked my parents first thing in the morning. I found the place before, but I forgot the name and panicked, so I asked my parent. I felt relieved for a moment, but then I realized I didn't understand how it was different from the place we talked about earlier. I was relieved and then confused again about the difference. I started worrying that maybe I couldn't enter that place either. And when I asked my mom, she didn't really understand and just said it's fine to easily. It's fine to easily. I worried I couldn't enter, and my mom just said it's fine without knowing. We decided she would call them, and I researched too. I probably have ulcerative colitis, and I don't want treatment. But the pain gets so bad. I want hospitalization. She called, and I checked too. I think it's ulcerative colitis. I don't want treatment, but need hospitalization for plan. But it's not something that gets cured. So I don't know what to do. If won't heal, I don't know what to do. I know I can never live alone, but when people ask me why, I can't answer, and that's hurt. I can't live alone, but I can't explain why. It's painful. Management, cleaning, I couldn't do any of it when I lived alone before. I couldn't manage money or cleaning when I lived alone. When I researched again, I realized the place we talked about earlier was basically the same as the word of bedridden patient. I checked and I found it basically a bedridden word. My mom didn't keep her promise about helping me choose a path. Yet she confidently said, "You can enter here without researching, probably. My mom didn't research but still said I could enter. I've been managing my diet carefully to keep the illness mild. But if I can't enter that place, I don't know what I would do about food. I control my diet, but if I can't enter, I don't know what to eat. Maybe instant food would be okay. But ever since the illness started, I've had constant fatigue, so it feels impossible. Instant food might work, but fatigue makes everything hard. And with depression on top of that, everything becomes even more complicated. Depression makes it even harder. I'm starting to worry whether I'll even be able to record my podcast in the future. I worried I won't be able to keep making my podcast. When I get like this, I completely lose all emotional capacity. When this happens, I lose my all mental space. Next, curry is basically like a Japanese national dish, yet Blue-style curry isn't cheap, which I find strange. Curry is popular in Japan, but blue curry isn't cheap, which is odd. Chain stores are dominated by Koko Ichibanya, so that can't be helped. But I heard small independent curry shops have been increasing recently. Cocoich dominates chains, but small curry shops are increasing. But why was there so few before? If the reason is you can make curry at home, then Hamburg steak should be the same. Yet family restaurants are full of it. If curry is rare because you can cook it at home, then why is Hamburg overwhelmed? Unlike tempura, curry don't require much capital to open a shop. Curry shops don't need much money to start. While thinking of a podcast title, I wanted to express that I talk about philosophy and also about a strange aspect of Japanese people, and I wanted to include good SEO word. I wanted a reel that shows I talk about philosophy and Japanese issues with good SEO. But I ended up thinking in the same way as last time. But I repeat the same thinking as before. Apparently, blue-style curry is trending now. So I asked whether it's different from European curry or thin spice curry. I asked if blue curry is different from European or spicy curry. My mom said they are all included, and I accepted it honestly. My mom said they're all the same, and I accepted. Even when I said, maybe it's the old-fashioned sweet curry, she didn't agree at all. Even though nobody knows the real answer. I said it might be sweet curry, but she didn't agree, even though no one knows. In Sapporo, ramen shops are still increasing, and now there are both soup curry and roux curry shops. Sapporo keeps getting more ramen and curry shops. I thought if it keeps going, everyone's health will get worse and doctor will be happy. I thought more curry shops mean worse health and happy doctors. While watching TV, I asked my besides being cheap, what's better about donuts chains compared to small donut shop? I asked what's good about donut chains besides price. I asked what's good about donut chains besides price. She said the shop is cheaper. Even though I was talking about small shop in general, she said, this shop is cheaper, missing my point. Even when I asked again, she still said, this place is cheaper. I asked again, and she repeated the same thing. I desperately wanted to think that the cute girl in the idol group I don't support wasn't big deal. I tried hard to think the cute idol wasn't special. It's not enough to just put cute girls in a group, but putting in girls who aren't cute is out of the question. They have no sense. It's not just about cuteness, but adding no cute girls make no sense. I looked at some curry shops that open in Sapporo, and then suddenly wondered if there were funny wedding speech videos. I checked new curry shops, and then I looked up funny wedding speeches. I hate people who try too hard to be funny. It makes me embarrassed just watching. I dislike flashy jokes. They make me cringe. During the mayoral election, the candidate put cool photos from the youth and bragged about his hobbies and university on the flyer. And I thought this person should never be mayor. A mayor candidate bragged on his flyer, and I thought that he shouldn't be mayor. I really hate people who try to stand out in that way. I hate people who show off like that. My parent works in a job where they helped send off people who died in religion. Context. And 3 readers had already arrived. When I said, how many people are you gonna send off? She laughed. My parent helped with religion memorial work. And when I asked how many he will do. He laughed. I watched an idol show for the first time, and when I said the host was kind cute, my mom said she's not a member. I said the host was cute, and my mom said she's not a member. Then when I said I didn't like one of the actual members, my mom said, I think the host you mentioned earlier is better. So I said, she's not even my later. My mom compared them, and I compared them, and I said the host wasn't even my consideration. I've been struggling with how to make overseas listeners interested in my podcast, people who like Japan and might care about my personal stories about family issues or depression. I don't know how to attract foreign listeners who like Japan and my personal stories. Since I'm not a specialist, I wanna express that these are real experience. Family problem, depression, developmental trait. But if I put developmental disorder in the title, it sounds like a professional show. If I include developmental disorder, it sounds like a specialist show, which I'm not. My parents fought during meals, but I'm sure he don't do that outside. At home, it's normal, but during meals, it feels different. My parents fought at the table, but probably not outside. I always thought it was common sense not to do that, but apparently not, especially since we barely interact as a family. I thought it was common sense not to do that. But maybe not in my house. My parents sometimes fought while eating at home, but I guess he don't do it when eating outside. It's normal to fight at home, but during meal it feels different. Until now, I thought it was common for parents to fight, but that doesn't seem to be. He have no common sense, but especially in our family, since we don't spend much time together, it feels inconsiderate. As I said before, I tried adding crushed soybeans to tofu, and it was a complete failure. I crushed the soybeans into tofu, and it failed badly. I watched a YouTube video by someone who opened a sushi restaurant with zero training, and I realized I was tricked by the title. YouTube can be terrible. A sushi shop YouTuber tricked me with the title. Even as a kid, I understand people who seriously said, if we do this, the world will become better. As a child, I didn't understand people who believed the world could be fixed easily. Even as a kid, I couldn't understand people who seriously said, if we do this, the world will become better. I realized even back then that sushi things don't exist. I knew as a kid that sushi solutions don't exist. My mom didn't keep her promise about helping to choose a path, yet she got angry recently about the heater being on. I got angry recently about the heater being on. My mom broke her promise about my future, but got so I got mad about the heater. I hesitated about telling her, "You are using the heater too much." I wasn't sure whether to tell her she overused the heater. I tried listening to a philosophy podcast, but I still couldn't understand much. I tried a philosophy podcast but didn't understand it well. Everyone knows that value exists only in people's mind. But when people force value onto things, it gives temporary relief and later causes trouble. Value exists only in our mind, and forcing value causes problems. People don't realize that they have two choices: accept something as having no value, or refuse to accept that. People don't see they can accept or reject value. And when they say something is good, something else becomes bad. At the same time, people don't notice that calling something good makes something else bad, but people don't not know this. Without idols, you become nihilistic. Without ideal, you become nihilistic. But if you chase ideals, you eventually realize they don't exist. It's just escapism. Ideal prevents nihilism, but chasing them is escapism. Without ideal, you become nihilistic. But if you chase ideal, you eventually realize they don't exist. It's just escapism. I realized people can become weak, not mentally or physically, but in some other way. When they try to hold onto hope or ideal or religion, people become weak when they cling to hope or religion. When I think if I just had things on one thing, everything would work out. That's when I know I'm becoming weak. Thinking this will fix everything means I'm getting weak. All kind philosophies are created and destroyed over time, and I think human thought and feelings work the same way. Philosophic come and go, and human thinking changes the same way. Even if I think this is the right answer, it's changed in an instant. Even when I think something is right, it's changed quickly. I think both absolution and relativism relativism are wrong. I think absolutism and relativism are both incorrect. There is no absolute truth, but saying everyone has their own correctness is also wrong. It becomes a bad kind of nihilism. Nihilism. There's no absolute truth, but everyone is right is also wrong. In my hometown, snowplows come all the time, and I thought they should advertise that it's perfect for people who like noisy night. Snowplows come often here. It could be a selling point of all people who like the noise. I've never had hallucination, but sometimes I get so sensitive to the sound of neighbors shoveling snow that it feels like hallucination. I don't hear hallucination, but snow shoveling sound feel like it sometimes. I thought maybe it was just my head, but then I realized it really was the sound, and it made me angry and shouldn't shovel at night. I thought it was in my head, but it was real and it annoyed me. I've never succeeded with the recipe from the cooking researcher Ryuji, and when that's happened, I started relying on superstition. Shuji's recipe never work for me, and I get superstitious. Yesterday, I thought I just watching the videos, so it's be fine. It still didn't work. I watched the videos and still failed. I spent 8 hours thinking about the podcast title, and only afterward, I realized I wasted time on tiny details. I spent 8 hours on the title and realized it was too much. When that's happened, I wanna make a huge comeback, like changing my English pronunciation practice all at once, like a gamble. When I feel stuck, I wanna make a big change, like a gamble. Translating one Japanese sentence into 2 casual English versions, then back into Japanese, and writing 2 versions again is endless. Making 2 English versions and 2 Japanese versions for each sentence is endless. Next corner is hikimeshi. Yesterday, I had fried eggplant, and salted pork. Both is good taste. Thank you for listening. Please follow this program. See you again.